Well, welcome everyone to our new podcast and live show. We are going live every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on TikTok. This is our very first one, and we're so excited. I'm Abby, your host, obviously, and this is Rado.
What's up, guys? Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And whether you are literally here with us right now, live on TikTok, or you're going to be watching this as a recorded episode, this podcast is exactly what it sounds like: subjective thinking. So, literally, we're going to cover everything from the latest TikTok trends to the intricacies of a relationship. Super excited to be here. So, we're going to go ahead and get into it. Now, this is the part of the podcast where we are going to just catch up kind of from our week, some things that are going on, things that we have experienced. And then, we'll kind of shift from there. But obviously, the theme of this is what, Abby?
Technical difficulties. Because we had a
Yeah.
lot of them. Would you like to start?
Yeah.
Would
If
you
I
like to
could,
start your side of things, or should I start my side of things?
um, I think we should let everybody hear the truth first. And then if
Oh,
you
so I'll
want
start.
to,
So I'll start.
no, that's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
When when we started talking about doing this podcast like a week ago, I think we got it all pretty quickly. And the things that Rado, okay, first of all, you guys got to know when Rado texts, he's the most confusing texter ever. He will say, like, just say things without zero context behind them. And I'm like, just supposed to understand what he's saying, I guess. I don't know. So, mind you, that's just how he always is texting. So, he's asking me like all these questions about, like, he's just throwing things at me about softwares and like PCs and like just saying all these like things and asking me if I have this or that. And I'm like, we're talking about webcams and mics and everything. And I think the most confusing part for me was the software, but we can get to that. But there was a big confusion um, that happened where he asked me if I had a PC, and I said no, because in my head,
Oh, so we're going like way back, are we?
we're going from the beginning. Because in my
Okay.
head, I don't have
Oh,
a
look
PC.
at
I
this
have a
little gem.
MacBook. This is Blue,
Speaking of
everyone.
technical difficulties, this is the prime technical difficulty that will be through the series until there will be no series, I'm sure of. So this is the mascot, or at least one of them,
She's needy.
I could say.
She needs her mom. Yeah. Oh,
I,
here we
I
go.
see that. You know what's crazy is normally like this is a very late night thing when your cat shows up, and she's
Yeah.
on it early right now.
She's been on it before. She was on my chair before I even sat in my chair. So she was like probably the most prepared.
That's very, yeah, she's ready. I already see in the
She
chat that
is.
we are talking about a Mac is not a PC, and
Thank
technically
you.
you are correct. Technically, you are correct.
Wait, are
The
we
gist of it
saying
was
for the first time ever on live that I was
no,
correct?
we will we no, we will go
You
back
said
to
it. I didn't say it. You said that.
listen. We already had this conversation about Apple and how they have to be completely different, and so remember
They.
everybody that is in the Apple world, yeah, they have to literally make sure that they are specific as opposed to everybody else. So essentially, what I was trying to get at with Abby was ask if she had a computer.
Okay, but
And
is that, let's state some facts. Did you ask me if I had a computer, or did you say, do you have a PC?
I asked her if she had a PC.
So I said
And she
no.
said, no, I don't.
I
Yeah.
don't. So there
And
was a
then as we're
huge problem
getting trying to
already.
get software, Yeah. So then we were like, all right, how are we going to get the software?
This
What
was
are we
like
going to
2 days
do?
later.
And then we're going, yeah. And I'm like, well, I guess we'll just have to buy a computer. And she's like, um, I love seeing the gifts, by the way. If you were watching this episode and you're probably
I know.
wondering why Abby is maybe making faces, it's because an elephant face just went on her from TikTok. So there's a kind of double reaction. So everybody else that you go
I
to your
didn't think
Spotify
that
or
part
whatever,
through. I
yeah,
didn't
if
think
you're
that part
wondering
through.
and
It's very
why
exciting.
these faces, this is great though. This is good.
It is.
Yeah. So, anyways, found out she had a PC, and then the rest of the week
No, you found out I
was
have a
literally
computer. It was like 3 days later
yes,
when I
yeah.
was like, well, I don't have a PC, but I do have a computer. And he was like, I'm sorry, what? Because 3 days ago you told me you didn't. And then it was now it's turned into this whole argument because I'm like, you asked me if I had
Yeah.
a PC. I don't have a PC. I have a MacBook. And that was the first start of
Listen,
the technical difficulties. Then it's just
yeah,
spiraled from
in
there.
my opinion, I definitely felt like in that situation, regardless of what anything is labeled, I almost feel like the minute I asked about a computer or PC or whatever, that there should have been like some sort of recollection that's like, well, I don't have that, but I do have this. But we had to wait three
So,
days.
so I will say here's the reason why. Again, we're going through technical difficulties. I thought when he was talking about all this software stuff, which again, no context, I don't know what software stuff, we originally mentioned that we would possibly be doing this whole thing through the TikTok Live Studio, which TikTok Live Studio, it's not like it doesn't you can't so it doesn't
Compatible.
support it on it's not compatible with a MacBook.
Yeah.
So in my head, that's why I thought he was asking me to be like, oh, we can do it on TikTok Live Studio. And I was like, well, that's not going to work. And so I didn't think like you were just meaning a normal computer because clearly we weren't going to do it on the live studio. So that's why I didn't automatically be like, oh, but I have a normal computer, a regular computer that
Well,
most people use.
right. And then what happened when you got it up and running? Actually,
Okay.
essentially at one point she was like, all right, she got a new camera. I was like, cool, download the software for it. I think 35, 40 minutes went
I
by,
think
and I'm
I think it
like,
was yeah. I was gonna say I
it
think
was
it
a
was a little
while. And
longer
I'm
than
like,
that.
what is yeah, well, it turns out that every single thing on the PC, oh, excuse me, the MacBook had to be completely updated. So we got that up and running. We were good. We were live. And then what happened, Abby?
First of all, the reason why it took so long,
Mm.
we got to backtrack again a little bit. This is an old computer. I have an old computer, you guys. It's not new. So, and then also, I don't go on it. I barely use it. I don't know the last time I really needed it for something. Like, I work at an office that has computers. I never bring my computer in. So, I needed to not only update my computer, I also needed to update Chrome on it. So, those were two separate things.
And,
And then I also needed to download the software for the webcam. And then,
and,
and then, oh, and then I had to download the software for the webcam, but then we started all of this up, and once it finally got up and running, then my
no, no,
computer
no, no.
crashed.
And she had to also update the operating system. And if anybody knows how freaking long that takes,
Wait,
I don't even know like when the last time you updated that.
what's the difference between the operating system and the computer itself? Isn't that the same?
So the title of this episode is called Technical Difficulties, and we're specifically relating this to my co-host here. If that question, then yes. So yes, you did technically update your computer, but the operating
Yeah.
system is what took the longest because it was so far out of date.
Okay. Again, you guys, I
Yeah,
don't
it was,
use
and then it crashed multiple
and then
times.
it and then it and then it crashed multiple times.
So
And then I
if
had
you're
to put
like
an
me
ice
and
pack
not an
under it.
Apple,
Go
yeah,
on.
she literally had to put an ice pack. So people that know me obviously know the rivalry between me and any type of yeah talent shirt. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
showing up. and being here again. If you guys are seeing this podcast, not here, we just got a bunch of gold coins dumped on our head from our
Thank you
agency.
guys.
So
Wait,
shout
can
out
I
to
make
Talents
one
for
point
Agency.
that I thought about for all
Yes,
of this?
please go
That
ahead.
there's like multiple levels to this podcast where it's going to be the live show on TikTok where we're seeing gifts, and then it's going to be all the stuff that's like on Spotify or whatnot. That there's two versions of that where people can be watching it or they can only be hearing it. So sometimes they're not even going to be seeing any of this. So there's like a lot of
They're literally
dimensions to
just
this.
going to be watching Abby make a million different faces in between.
I
You
mean,
would almost seem like maybe you have a tick or something.
I don't.
You think?
Have you ever
No?
seen somebody with a tick? I don't know if that's the
I mean,
same
okay.
thing.
Well, yeah, maybe different. Maybe a little different.
We could
Yeah, so anyways, again, Apple products, not my thing. I'm not an Apple guy whatsoever. The people that know it, I definitely am one-hearted on Android. And so there's always going to be a constant battle. So anytime I have an opportunity to literally trash things like the MacBook having to have an ice pack on it
we
to
can't
run,
we can't FaceTime each other. He can't even three-way call. We can't see the same emojis. If we're thank you. If we're in a group text, we can't be in a group text because it's green. And then on top of it, how annoying is it to see that I like Abby liked blah 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 message like or I can't send you things with confetti. What does it even say when I send you things with confetti? Does it even show
I don't know. You
anything?
don't send me things with confetti.
See? Oh, well,
I mean, I
because
never
you have an
see confetti
Android.
come flying by.
Yeah, of course, because you have an Android. You can't see my confetti.
Well, what I can tell
Oh,
you
you got
is that
stumbled there. Because
with my cowboy hat,
you want because no, you want the confetti
because
text.
oh no, I don't care about
Uh-huh.
confetti popping up on my phone.
Everybody would
Listen,
love
I
confetti.
want to know. I want to know right now if that is the number one thing that Apple users like want is confetti on their phone.
No, there's still the number one. It's just like, why not add some confetti in your life? We could can we do
I don't have
polls when we're in this?
time.
We could do a poll in our chat right now to see if
That happy face is you want confetti.
happy
Sad
face
face is you don't care about confetti.
or happy face. Yeah, confetti apple.
I just feel
Sad
like
face
if I'm
because
gonna
you're
open
sad
my
you have
phone
Android.
and I'm listen, that didn't slip over me on that one. That was
It
smooth.
almost did.
Um, yeah. So I don't know. It has been interesting for sure going through this week on trying to get this set up. But at the end of the day, you know what? It is crazy. These gifts, I appreciate every single one of you guys that
I
are
know, me
sending them.
too. Thank you
It is
guys.
hard to stay focused on both as they
I
go through, but I do,
know.
yeah, seriously. And again, if you guys want to catch the live show that are watching this elsewhere, it's again Thursdays, 6:30 Pacific time. That's PM. And you can see what is going on that might confuse us or make us make funny faces
On
or all the
TikTok.
things.
Yep, on TikTok. All right. Do you want to
Yes, did I
say
not
your
mention TikTok?
side? Do you want to say your side of technical difficulties? Do you want to explain when you like just say these like statements that have like nothing behind it when you're
Listen, I
just like,
do. Have you ever seen the Saturday Night Live where I can't remember what the character is, but he's literally the tech IT guy, and like people start to explain like what their problem is, and he's always like, move, and he like kind of pushes them out of the way, and then he like goes crazy
I've not
typing, and then
seen
he's like
this.
fixed, and then moves on. That's kind of what I feel like sometimes is I know that sometimes I might throw out things that I think are common sense, and apparently they're not. And that's nothing against you. That's just a lot of
Hmm.
what happens with technical people. And so, yes, maybe I need to do a little more explaining on what I'm specifically talking about. Or I could easily
I don't
use
know if that's.
Abby's terminology and say, like, if I flip this, but do the horizontal
I
shuffle
corrected
on this
myself.
screen, and
I corrected myself. I said I shouldn't have said the word flipped. I should have said the word switched. I corrected it. Thank you for the sunglasses.
Right. So here's what else also happens is as she is trying to communicate her technical vocabulary, it is not the same. And so I think there is a little bit of
We speak very differently. But you know what, though? With what he's trying to explain right now is I was trying to tell him about this way I was editing a video. I thought I didn't have to do a lot of explanation because I was like, oh, if I over explain what I'm doing, you're going to be like, oh, it's simple, blah, blah, blah. I know this. But the fact that you didn't get it right away, I was like, oh, okay, well, we have a problem. He doesn't know what I'm talking about. But I thought I could keep it simpler.
Houston.
But
I mean,
apparently not.
simple's fine if I feel like the difference between men and women are women
Oh, I'm so
definitely
excited to hear this really quick. Sorry, you did not. You
this
did
is
not be prepared for this.
this
This
is
one. Go on.
this is my subjective thinking on the way that men and women like to communicate. And I think with women, a lot of the times what happens is they are thinking about everything in process, and then they will literally like blurt out something at the end or say something as if we heard the whole conversation, and then we're supposed to like understand what they were trying to say.
So what you're saying is that men just don't listen and they only listen to that last part? Because you just said as if we were supposed to listen to that whole thing. You're saying.
No, I'm saying in your head, like you'll like all of a sudden it'll be like you'll be thinking about something that I have no idea what you're thinking about, right? And then you'd be like, we should flip that. And
That
this is
is
an example,
not
and I'd be
how
like,
that went at
wait, just
all.
listen. But then I'm not talking about the phone, and I'd be like,
Okay.
wait, flip what? And you're like, the couch around. Where it's like you're thinking that you want to do something and you won't like say the full sentence, and you'll like imagine that we were part of that conversation, and then like we don't have any idea what you're talking about.
That is not accurate. That's not how
Listen,
this
I don't
works
know
at
how
all. So I
many
would just
men
like to
are in
point
here,
out.
but I'm
Hold on. I'd just like to point out that the confetti poll won. So anyway, AKA
I imagine
Apple.
because there's probably a bunch of Apple users in here. That's fine. Enjoy your confetti. Enjoy it. Listen though,
Will.
we will start to pull some Android users in here, and we will take over.
There were a few.
Okay.
Android user. Okay, I'm not going to say
Ooh,
all
we're
Android
gonna start with the
users,
Android. Okay.
but my only experience is with you. So you seem so just like aggressive. I'm simply being like, oh, we want confetti in the chat, and you're really coming on strong about how much you hate Apple. So I am just trying to keep it light and simple over here. You're the one that's a little
So
upset. That you're upset that the
you're the
confetti
party on the
won.
business.
A
I'm
little
not
bit.
upset, but you're the party on the business is what I'm kind of considering right now.
In this situation, I would say yes.
Like, could you imagine like some trying to get through your workday, and every time you open a text message, confetti is all over the screen? I feel like that would hinder
we
my
are
productivity.
professional people. I'm not just sending confetti left and right. Those are for very special texts that have to be celebrated. When someone said, oh my God, when someone says happy birthday to you, you don't get the balloons. It automatically does that. That's the sweetest thing, isn't that? You don't get
I
that.
mean,
Is that why
I
you're
don't
upset?
think so.
No,
I
I
don't think
know you
anybody wishes me a
don't.
happy birthday.
People do. When you send happy birthday, it automatically is like balloons, and it's like an exciting thing. That's why you're grumpy about it. You don't get the balloons for your
That I don't get the
birthday.
balloons.
Yeah,
Well,
that's sad.
maybe you can send real balloons instead of fake balloons on my birthday.
Okay, I'll remember. That seems like a lot of extra work. Or you could just get an iPhone, but it's okay.
That's okay.
I'll make sure every year to send you balloons now.
So obviously we're here and things work and we have some things to work out. We have some things to work out.
Are you
it's not like
what? It's not like what?
I was just going to say, I've lost my train of thought. I'm ready for something.
I was going to ask you if you're ready for this next part of the segment that you're very excited about, that I'm
Yes.
very nervous about.
Yes, I am excited for this next segment. But we will finish with the fact that I think at the end of the day, Abby and I will be much better at communicating. And if it doesn't happen, it just means that it's better content for you guys. But we're here
One
and
day.
everything's working.
One day we'll get there, I think.
That's the important thing. Round two. Yeah, next Thursday is round two. Okay, so we're going to break into one of my favorite things that I got to add, and it's called That Can't Be Real. So here's what's going to happen.
First of all, can
I
I say
have,
that this is the most you segment of this? I have you guys will see. We'll say who picked what. This is what Rado picked, and I it's a game that I have to guess. So in this case, I will be using the chat to help me, but
okay,
let's see what I don't know what this
fair
is.
enough. And you guys in chat can help her by saying 1, 2, or 3. But here's what's going to happen. Again, this can't be real. And that is right. One of them is not real. I've got 3 incredibly amazing stories, or you can even say news article. Didn't necessarily take in place at this time. It could have been a few years ago, 10 years ago. Regardless, these are things that happened around the world, and 2 of them are real stories, and 1 of them is not. It is Abby's. I don't even know what to say. She has to figure out which one is real, and you guys can help her. 2 truths and a lie,
I'm the
exactly.
contestant
But
on this show right now.
yes, but this is with literally some crazy stories. So let's go ahead and start this off. I know I use my words. So this first news article is called Russian Spy Whale. Okay, so in May of
I hate you
2019,
already. Sorry, start over.
I
What?
don't think she knew where this was going to be when I told her how these stories were going to be. So,
Nope, I did not. Go on,
Russian.
please.
All right, so which first of all is badass. Let me tell you, if you have a spy whale in general, like I'm down. Like that's some baller shit right there to have a spy whale.
Yeah, it sounds almost not real.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. All right. So in May of 2019, an alleged Russian spy whale had been found in a Norwegian waters and was playfully refusing to leave. Okay. So basically, this charming beluga was discovered near a city of Hammerfest, Norway, and it kept seeking out human attention, and even allowing some people to pet its nose. Now, here's an interesting fact: is normally wild belugas are certainly social butterflies, but they don't really nuzzle up to people or approach people so much. So this behavior was awfully suspicious. Okay.
Okay.
Well, sure enough, okay, this whale was found to be wearing a harness that said Equipment St. Petersburg. And as it happens, there is a longstanding theory that the Russian Navy has been conducting a
A
special operations
harness?
sea mammal program.
Did
Yeah,
you say a
like it's
harness
strapped around the dolphin.
on
Yeah,
a whale?
on a beluga whale, a full harness. Now, mind you, a beluga whale is not like a huge whale like thing. They're like dolphins
It's a whale. It's still
as well.
a whale.
Hey,
Go
whatever. I mean,
on.
they made this a harness for this thing.
Uh-huh.
So apparently, so they conducted this mammal program for years using whales and dolphins as spies. And the Russian Defense Ministry did post an ad in 2015 offering $24,000 for 5 dolphins, which definitely raised some eyebrows. Now, this is where it gets interesting, right? According to the BBC, the Russian Navy denied these accusations of using the spy whale. And when interviewed, they interviewed this Russian colonel named Viktor Baronets. And this is what he said. This is some gangster shit. We have military dolphins for combat roles. We don't cover that up. That's story number one. That's some crazy
I
shit.
just want to say first and foremost that if that is not the lie, which who knows what I'm going to listen to, what if that is not the lie, did you like check
True
fact
News Story,
these
BBC.
stories?
Two of them are real. One of them is not.
Okay. I'm just making sure we're check facting because I'm like, or fact checking.
Oh, don't worry. These next two stories are just as fantastic.
Cool. Great. Ooh. Thank you for the
Thanks, CJ. Are you ready for this? This one was probably my favorite story that I found out of all of them. Okay, so this one is, I mean, let me ask you first of all, like obviously there's a lot of people out there that are big animal activists. And they've done some crazy stuff, right? We all know, like pouring blood on themselves, laying in markets, like all sorts of stuff. Well, one place where they say goodnight to the cows, here's what they did. A humane meat company hires assassins to quietly slaughter cows in their sleep. Let me tell you how they did this. Addressing the need to incorporate more humane practices at the facilities, Cargill Meat Solutions announced Thursday that it had hired assassins to quietly slaughter cows in their sleep. And this is in order to reduce the suffering of livestock. Trained hitmen, this is crazy, trained hitmen will creep into their pens late at night and compassionately terminate each of them.
Compassionately? Trained
before it even
hitmen,
realizes what's happening.
Compassionately? Okay, go on. That's
Yes. So they're doing this before they even realize what happens. And it said CEO Brian Sykes explained that the quartersome of highly skilled assassins would approach cattle as they slept and then used a silencer to discreetly put them to peace.
I don't know.
And
I don't know how I'm saying this, but over the freaking harness on the whale story, but for some reason I'm so far thinking this one's a lie, but let's move on.
It sounds incredibly, incredibly far-fetched. Trust me, this story is like insane to me. It's insane. Anyways, so then the other assassins in the pen, they would literally wait there for them to essentially fall asleep in the dark. And the reason is because if they were to step on branches or open the gate or do anything and it made noise, it would startle them. And so they literally would wait until night, take care of them, and make sure that they didn't experience any pain so that it was a more humane way of doing it. That's story number 2.
Okay.
I just want to point out that lady in the chat is making a good point that these cow ninjas have been around for centuries and they originated from Japan.
The fact that
that was the title. The title is
ladies.
Humane Meat Company. Okay, story number 3. Actually, this one's pretty good too. Finland gets rocked by the very first heavy metal knitting contest. In July of 19, Finland was rocked by the historic premiere of the first ever heavy metal knitting world championship and held where else? In Finland. Go ahead.
I just want to say that if this is not a real story, I want it to be real and I want to participate. Go on.
I literally figured that is exactly what you were going to say, Abby. This story was made for you.
That's great.
This is literally your jam. So this is a place where metal is so mainstream that folks often just emit chaotic death growls as the drums pounded and electric guitars pulsed through the air. A crowd of 200 people cheered in an array get ready for the competitors who traveled all around the world, including a 35-year-old nurse from Michigan who performed with her 71-year-old mother and a 64-year-old friend. These die-hard metal grannies, armed with needles and wool, tried their best to knit to the beat. The swift-handed winners proved to be a 5-person crew from where? None other than Japan. So, and they're called the Gigabody Metal Team.
Okay.
And so now in 2022 or 2020 is when they were planning to hold the second one and do a repeat performance. Those are the 3 stories.
Wait, that the second one was in 2020.
2020. Sorry.
Oh, I mean, I think that's real because I would actually go to that, and I feel like people would want to do that. Okay, I will ask the chat. I already have in my head which one I think is fake. But my lovely friends in the chat, we heard story 1 with the whale that had a harness. I don't know how that's not the one I think it is. They're the cow assassins is 2. And the number 3 is the heavy metal knitting. I think number 2 is the lie.
I do want to just correct Diddles in chat. She said, so whales, cow ninjas, or it's not just grannies, it's heavy metal knitting grannies.
Yeah.
They probably, I'm pretty sure that the best humane way would be to put the granny kniddlers. What do you call a bunch of people that knit?
Knitters?
Niddlers?
Granny. I think it's knittlers.
It's probably not a thing. It's probably not a thing.
I don't know if we should be trying to say this right now. This is stressing me out.
Oh man.
Okay, chat.
Good thing you don't have an accent.
Everybody drop the number that you think is a lie.
I did see quite a few 2s in there.
I'm waiting for the chat to say my final answer.
We got another 2.
Lisa says 2. Just 2 says 2.
You know what's funny? Because it's so crazy, I knew everybody was going to select this one. I knew everybody was going to select number 2.
The ninja?
Yeah, the assassins.
Is not the lie?
I knew it.
Number 2 is not the lie? You're going to say it? Isn't it?
Here we go. The lie... Definitely the assassin ninjas, but that is hella cool that if that was a real thing, like I had to use it. I had to go with the assassins. Like really, I mean, come on. They were pretty crazy. That one is so far-fetched.
The problem isn't the story. The problem is I know you too well and how you tell the story.
I could see that. That's the problem. That one was my favorite story though, even though it was fake.
It's not. I mean, honestly, though, I would love to do a full deep dive episode on the whales in harnesses because that sounds unbelievable.
Russia is not messing around. They're like, yo, get these dolphins strapped up and let's head out. Let's go.
I would love to see a photo of this harness. Like you know those photos of like a giraffe when it's like, help, like where does the bow tie go? Is it up at the top or is it down at the bottom? Or like, you know, have you ever seen that? There's like these photos that they ask you like where what?
I mean, they have fins, right? So the easiest thing to do would probably be to strap it around the fins and the what is that fin called on their back? Dorsal fin?
You're asking me what the top fin is called?
I'm pretty sure it's the dorsal fin. I completely could be wrong.
Does anybody know what the top fin? Oh wow! Of course
it is the dorsal fin.
Jen would know this one.
I am so smart. I'm a genius.
Okay, sorry. What about the dorsal fin? Were we saying?
Well, think about it. They're going to strap it probably around their fins, and you know it probably would lay against the top of their dorsal fin as a harness, like.
I mean, I can picture it for sure. I just feel like it's something I'm completely making up in my head that's non-existent.
Because it's a crazy story. which is good. So, again, title of this week's episode is Technical Difficulties.
Difficulties.
Difficulties. The word of the day.
Story of my life. Story of my life.
While you were in the Walmart Wi-Fi, I would never
Thank
connect to
you,
Walmart
Katie. Yeah.
Wi-Fi. You know how many people are waiting for you to connect to that so they can steal your information?
Okay, that's another segment. I don't know about that.
Anyways, oh, that's a thing. That's why you
That's
don't
the
connect.
story that's not real.
That's why you don't connect to like any coffee shops or hotels or Walmart, like any big like
You never in your life have connected to a coffee shop or a hotel or a Walmart?
I use a VPN when I do.
Every single time you use a VPN?
Listen, it's kind of like drunk driving. It's not worth driving and having these
Okay.
fines when you could just take an Uber and spend the short amount of time.
It is nothing like
It is.
that. Yeah, that is the worst comparison
I
I have ever heard in my life.
no,
Drunk driving, you're risking other people's
but you're risking
lives.
everything. It's the same way if you leave your data open to people to get into and they can steal all your information, it can be just as destructive to your life if they get a hold of your personal information. So VPN, boom,
Are we all hearing the same
is
thing?
doing that instead of taking an Uber. Like
Mm,
yes,
okay.
I want my car home or this and that. I don't want to do it, but realistically, the Uber is going to save everybody's life, and the VPN is going to save your financial life.
Yeah, one's like a physical life that could be gone, and the other is like you would have like a really bad, maybe I'll give you a month, year. It could like really mess up things, but she would still be living. But I mean, yeah, sure. I guess it's
Listen, I
kind of
could
like
definitely go
it.
down this path of destruction of what it could possibly create for somebody, but we're not going to go there, and we'll just give you the win for that
Here's
one.
the thing. Here's the thing. You could go on all of these possibilities of what it could do and all these extremes of like let's have a magical little land in our head and think of all the things that could go bad. Drunk driving
It's
like
horrible.
ends in
We
a
I get
very
it.
few amount of
Yeah,
ways.
it's not a good thing. It's a very horrible thing.
Pause this.
Okay, yeah.
While I was gone into the abyss and had no Wi-Fi, did you explain what this next segment is, or are we
Completely.
about to?
Yes. I let them know. So again,
You
guys,
explained it all.
normally you guys will send us emails. We will go through all of them, but this is the first week. Obviously, we are going to be taking questions through TikTok. Are we that is a good question. Are we real?
Oh, Katie says, "Who would choose a life without virtual confetti?"
That's easy. That should be.
Yeah, that sounds like a sad person would want to choose that life, I would
Have you
say.
ever had
And
real
not me.
confetti?
I don't want to do that.
Have you ever dealt with real
What are you going to
confetti?
say about real confetti?
It gets
I would love to hear what you're
everywhere.
about to say.
It's super annoying.
Well,
It can't get it out of
you know
things.
what? Apple thought they said, how can we incorporate confetti when it's so fun, but it's just so awful to clean up? They said, let's put it through the text so it goes off and you get that excitement. And then you don't have to clean it
It's funny
up.
that we went back all
That's
the
the
way
best
to
part.
Apple and Android. And the best thing is here's every Apple user right now. Oh my god. Oh, speaking of confetti, Jen, thank you so much for giving the confetti gift. But here's how I
The confetti
imagine
didn't make you happy.
it doesn't
Oh,
it is
it
it's
made that made me happier. That made me happy again. Look at Rado smiling, you guys. We got him.
I'm
We
try,
got him. He's
I'm
converting.
not converting.
You're
I'm more
trying so
like
hard, but that confetti made you happy.
here's how I feel like Apple user. Yay, I got the new confetti gift. And then Android user, yo, I have a 200 megapixel camera that can show you the moon.
I will say, I use the confetti more than I would use the moon.
That your camera.
I use that confetti all the time.
That's my point.
I'll send people a good morning text with confetti. That's the nicest way to wake someone up. Good morning. Thanks for waking up.
confetti in your face.
It would make you happy, but you'll never be able to experience that.
What I really want to do is come wake you up with real confetti and just be like, and then see if you love it as much.
Well, I never said I liked real confetti. I said that's the beauty and the best part
Okay.
of
Here,
Apple because you don't have to clean it up.
facts. Here is a question. Moon asked if you could describe yourself as an animal, which would you be and why? So not an animal that you love. Like we're talking like animals that we would be, like ourselves.
Like real.
Can we do each other instead of ourselves? This might be interesting.
We could do both. We could do both. Oh, I gotta think a little harder about yours.
This is interesting.
Can I say what I think I would be?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what I think you are. Go ahead.
I think I would be a monkey. Like I don't know what kind of monkey. Maybe like a spider monkey or something. I don't know. Because I feel like I don't know, I could have a lot of energy and I like to cuddle and like hang on people and all the things. And,
Probably appropriate.
But then I mean I could be very scary if I want to be. So
that's good.
I think I would be.
I definitely see you more as like a river otter.
A river otter. Okay.
They're just always kind of like having like little things that they like to cuddle and hold on to, and are just
like my cats.
Yeah, exactly. Like just in general, they definitely have kind of that like innocent sweetness to them, very kind of playful.
That's very nice.
Well, I mean, we're describing.
Wow.
I wouldn't pick something that didn't describe you.
Very nice.
But also I feel like there's some mischief that kind of hangs around and maybe steals the snacks. I don't really know, but river otter's what I'm going with.
Okay. Well, mine for you
should I not
is
do mine first?
So
you were ready to bounce.
So sorry.
You were like, "Oh, I'm ready."
I was, and you're gonna feel bad because it was really nice.
I'm sure it's nice. First. We had Katie in the chat say baboon, which maybe, but you know what I'm really gonna go with here? What I'm really feeling deep down inside. I feel like a rhinoceros.
That's what you feel like? Please describe your personality as a rhinoceros right now.
Solid. Beefy.
Solid personality.
I didn't just solid.
I said describe your personality, and you said solid. Like, okay, yeah, you got a solid personality there. What else?
Listen, like, I don't know
what the fuck does a rhino do that you are like, yeah, that's me? But
I mean, I guess I was getting there too. I mean, they're super chill, kind of laid back, just doing their thing. But
have you interacted with a rhino?
That's the point I'm getting to. If you leave them alone and let them do their thing in the wild, they just eat, hang out, look majestic in their big beefy ways. And they got awesome freaking tusks, but you go mess with a rhino? Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. Let me see. Ooh, tell me I want to know how different these are going to be. They are solid, by the way. Yes.
I think I got to think of which kind.
Oh, there's multiple kinds.
Well, yes. I don't know which kind yet, but I'll just start it. I think you would be a dog, but like a big dog, but not in a bad way. Dogs are very loyal.
Please say spy whale.
Great companions. Spy whale.
Definitely
they're great companions. They're great. Like, they're very loyal. They're very playful. You're very playful. But then sometimes, when you get a dog, you're like a puppy though, like a puppy, and sometimes you get a dog and there's like, you're trying to like catch it or something and it's like running around. It's just being like a little shit. That's how I would describe you. Sometimes you're just like a little shit. You just like don't listen and you're just like running around and I'm like trying to grab you and you're just like fucking with me like a little puppy would do. But you're not mad at it because it's like a puppy and doesn't know better. But at the same time, you're just like,
Are we having like a mental breakdown right now? First of all,
no,
it started off as
that's
like
just how I would
me
describe
being a
you.
very large dog, but now I'm a puppy,
Yeah, you're like a
a
large
large puppy
puppy.
dog.
Large puppy dog. You're like Clifford.
So I'm an imaginary dog now.
Well, if Clifford was real, that's what you'd be.
Oh,
That's what I
okay.
mean.
We're getting Saint Bernard. We're getting Great Dane. Very different animals. The big red dog. That's me. That's I'm the big red dog. Interesting.
But I said all the good things. I said there's the switch personalities. It's like you are very loyal and
True.
kind and a great
Tell
friend
me more.
and person, and then it's like all of a sudden you're like you just
Just
have that little thing in you that you'll always have because you're just a
well, yeah.
puppy.
You guys got me excited. Chihuahua, Katie. No, there's no Chihuahua in this. There's no Chihuahua.
I mean, you have the personality of a chihuahua feels fitting
Excuse me.
a little bit. The chihuahua is
Listen,
not a
I
bad
can't be
like
every dog in the world. I can't be a Saint Bernard dog, but a puppy, and then I'm a red imaginary big
I
Clifford dog with Chihuahua. Okay, Mastiff.
have you ever heard of a mutt? Have you ever heard of a mutt? That is
Really? Tell
you.
me how
There we
Big
go.
Red Clifford and the tiny Chihuahua are gonna be having puppies.
I mean, I feel like there have
I
been
a
extremes like that
Chewini.
before in the dog
I
world.
feel like I am now a lab
Ooh, a
created animal. I literally
Chewini.
went from being this majestic rhino to a lab created mutated dog.
Okay, I said if Clifford were real.
Cano Carso.
He's
Yeah.
not
Listen,
real.
I could be a Cano Carso. Like one.
That is not how you
How do
say
I say
that.
it?
Say the dog's name.
A Cano Carso? Is that right? I know what dog it is. It's like a German Shepherd looking
It's a
thing.
it's a cane corso.
Oh,
Cane
yeah,
corso.
that's me. I'm that one.
You've been calling him Cano Carsos
I
or
don't know. I thought I
what?
saw an O on the end of it. Cane Corso. Carso.
Cane
Listen,
Corso.
listen.
I feel like, do you know what a cane corso
Yeah,
is?
I
You feel
can
like you're just
jump
making words
400
up right
feet in the
now.
air. I can hang from a rope. I mean, it's what they are using for police dogs right now.
Hang from a rope?
Yeah, haven't you ever seen those videos where they like run and they like jump off the dude's back and then like go like 200,000 feet in the air and grab like the.
That's what you're saying you can
Yeah, I throw
do.
a football over a mountain right now.
You went from a rhino because you said you just
Prove it.
chill and eat to hanging from
Listen, I'm the
ropes.
most athletic rhino, cane corso mixed blood you'll ever see. I got a 71-inch vert. I can run a quarter mile in 5.2 seconds.
You're saying if you were a dog?
I'm saying right now.
That's what I'm sorry. How far in how many
A
seconds?
quarter mile in 5.2 seconds.
In how many?
I'm faster than a cheetah.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, now we're just saying lies here. I think it's time for the next segment.
So moving on, we are going to do what's called red flag, green flag.
This is my segment, everybody. Red flag, green flag. I looked up a few things that could potentially be red flags or green flags.
So yeah, let's go ahead and start it off with the first one.
Rado, do you think this is a red flag or a green flag? I would say I'm gonna say this in general. When a guy is insisting on splitting the check, I'm gonna start it. That's a red flag.
Okay. So are there hypotheticals? Like what if the girl asked the guy out?
Oh, still a red flag.
Oh, red flag. Well, I've never split a check before. I've always been happy to do it. But I don't think I would necessarily consider it a red flag if a girl is very
I would.
is like okay with it, or if she did invite and a dude's like, let's split it. But to me,
I just saw I just saw a really good TikTok of a girl. It's like gone viral right now, so I'm sure a lot of you
ladies,
have
okay,
probably seen
splitting.
it, or it might just be my algorithm. But of a girl saying that if a guy tries to split the check with you when you're on a date, that you're supposed to like laugh and be like, "Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. I thought that this was a date. I didn't know you just wanted to be friends." And I thought that was pretty funny.
I've seen counterparts to that are probably not appropriate to the guy's response.
What do you mean?
Well, the rebuttal that I've seen is
It,
where a girl says that, and then the guy says, well, are you coming home with me tonight? And she says no, and then his response is, then we're splitting the check. So maybe that's a little bit of a red flag, but
that sounds
I listen.
that sounds like a
I
form.
mean,
Am I
if
allowed to say a form of prostitution? What? That
you're just having
he's
dinner,
insisting that if he pays, that means you have to go home
I'm
with him?
saying,
That is an even bigger red flag.
listen,
Is there can we get a darker red flag
but
in this
here's where I'm getting
situation?
at is if it's okay for a woman to pull the, oh, I thought it was a date, even if she asked him out and expected him to pay, is that not a red flag for a guy? Maybe.
I
See, look at
think,
Jacob.
especially on first dates, the gentleman should
Met
pay.
guys like that, they won't buy you a drink unless you pay them back. Yeah. Right. I'm not saying that it's
Yeah,
good.
and
I'm not
that
saying that's good. I'm
sounds
just saying rebuttal that I've heard to the girls' game of, oh, silly me. But either way,
I don't think I
well,
said
it
that.
was kind of something like that. But splitting the check, I'm okay not splitting the check. I will even do it for my best guy friends. I love being the guy to pay the bill, do things. I'm happy to do it. So that really doesn't matter to me. If you went on a date with me, you wouldn't even have to worry about it. Period. Done. I'm paying the bill. So
Okay, but you didn't say in the end we got to give a flag. That's a
I'm
red
gonna leave it
flag.
as a purple flag.
A
I'm gonna put
purple
it in the
flag.
middle based on
This is
scenario.
not red,
Okay,
green,
fine.
purple.
For women's sake, red
Okay,
flag. If you're
I will
red flag for women,
here's the deal. I will let us say that things are obviously
let's all go out with
situational,
Rado.
but
Red flag. I'll agree. Red flag.
things are situational. I get it, but in this situation, how I described it.
Okay, red flag.
Okay, that's good. We both think red flags. That's so nice. What about swearing a lot?
Fucking do it. I'm down. If you want to cuss all you want, it's fine.
I
It's green
like
flag.
that. You guys know how hard it is for me to like bite my tongue
Yeah.
on these lives. Like I'll let it slip sometimes, but like, hey, I'm okay with it. I say
Katie
green
doesn't
flag.
like the she's got a bar soap
Oh,
ready. It's different for everybody. I don't care. You want to cuss, use
it
words.
is. Here's the thing. I have like swearing for no reason.
That's me
I
again.
don't know if I necessarily have full blown reasons when
Yeah.
I do it though, but I I'm really good at switching it. So like I can like some people I feel like when they talk and like they like cuss or swear, they have a heart like it just comes out and they like it's so like natural
Yep.
for them. It's natural for me, but I can definitely start. I'm like I work with kids so much and I've always worked with kids in some way. So I'm like I can have my like kid voice or
Wait, can we hear the
whatever
kid
and
voice?
then well, it's not necessarily a
Oh,
voice. I just mean like there'll definitely be
time
other
and place for
like
sure.
I'll switch things
Listen,
around.
I don't
Yeah, I'll say
like I
heck
don't
and
listen,
shoot.
there was a time and place. Like I'm not like you're sitting in a restaurant and I don't want to hear some dude just like laying off, mostly them being loud, I guess we'll say. But listen, I don't care if you cuss if you're especially hanging around me and you're dropping them. It's fine. It's fine.
Here's the thing too is I think I'm just like very aware of my surroundings. Like I'm the type that
She's
even if
not
I'm like
lady.
out and I'm not like there's a kid around, it's not like I'm with the kid or anything. Like I will not cuss if there's like a kid around me because I think that's
What's that
obviously
TikTok trend that
not
happened
okay.
with that Nickelodeon star girl where she was like, they were like, "What's the one thing that you like to do?" And she's,
Miranda
yes, that her
Cosgrove.
girl. That's you remind me of her. Where,
She's like I do
yeah,
cuss a
what's your
little.
favorite cuss word? Probably fuck.
All
Okay,
right.
so next one.
So we
Green
said
flag.
they're green flags. Um, we're gonna go with. Sorry, my thing's flying. We're gonna go with showing up at your work
You didn't want to do the other
unannounced.
one?
We
Okay.
can do that
Okay.
one
No, no,
next.
no. It's
Okay,
fine.
I
Do it
was
how you
just
want
trying
to
to
do
get
it.
through some.
Um,
I'll do.
I don't really care. I don't think it's necessarily. I almost like don't know if I'd put a flag on this, um, where it's like green flag or red flag. However, I would say this: if you're fresh to dating somebody and they just showed up, I would throw a red flag.
Yeah,
That's where I would
agreed.
put it. But like, if maybe you've been together for a while, like obviously, like if Alex showed up unannounced at Pratt Daddy headquarters, are you going to be like, oh, red flag?
My job's so
Right.
different than most people as well, though. That's why it's hard for me. But if I had like a corporate like office job,
Depends on like a relationship.
then
Yeah.
that would be a red flag.
Yeah, so we're getting quite a bit of red flags, and
Yeah.
and it does depend. Like, I think if there was no conversation about it, right, if there was no like, if you had the conversation where it was like, hey, I'd like to bring you lunch one day, or this and that, or do you care if I stop by it? If you had that conversation, great. But like, if you're freshly dating or something, and you don't really have that, and they just suddenly show up without having that conversation, maybe a little bit of a red
Agreed.
flag.
The next one is asking to have your phone passcode. This is another.
I want to
This
know where
is
you're going
okay.
with this one.
Yeah, I want to say red flag first and foremost. It's a red flag, but I can say where this is like kind of like one of those situational things where there's like if it like especially new in a relationship or whatever, like that's a red flag. I don't like that.
Yeah.
That's my
If there's nothing
stuff,
solid, there's no reason for you to
whatever.
be curious
But
about my phone.
here's the thing: it's like when you're in a relationship for a while or whatever, and it's like if like literally the other day, this just happened the other day. Like I like trying to like order food and the phone clicks off and you can be like, oh, what's your passcode? Like really quick, just so you can put it in. And if that's like, that's easy peasy. Like that's nothing. It's not like it's like, what's your password? Like you're asking specifically, like if there's a reason
Yo, I'm
and
gonna
it's
need your
like,
passcode, and I'm
what's
gonna
your
take this
password?
in the next room with me for the next 20 minutes. Um, okay,
I don't lock the door. That's a red
what's a
flag.
bigger red flag? Asking for the passcode or the other person not wanting you to have their passcode?
The other person not wanting you to have your passcode, I
But
think.
see,
Well,
you're like,
again,
hey, this is kind of
situational. If it's in the beginning of a
yeah.
relationship, then I get it. That's if asking for the passcode is a bigger red flag. But if you're in a solid relationship,
If you're in a solid
I think
relationship, you
the other
probably
person,
do already know their passcode. And if you don't, here's
yeah,
if you are in a committed relationship and I think you do not know the passcode to your significant other's phone, there's probably an issue with your relationship because one, it shouldn't matter because it should be like that. Like let's say you need to use it for whatever, or like let's say your phone is in your purse with all your stuff and you're like trying to take a quick picture and Alex has his phone out, like, yo, he's just gonna hand you his phone. You're not gonna be like digging, through like, yeah, I'll take a quick picture. But like, yeah, I think a solid relationship shouldn't matter. I mean, having a passcode on your phone is legit, obviously. I don't want anybody finding my phone if I lose it and going through my stuff. Like, period.
all right. The last question is speaking positively about an ex. I I think that's a green flag, but again, we have so many situational things. If it's constant, I'm all shut the hell up. That's a red flag. But if it gets brought up, I'd be like, okay, that's whatever. That's a green flag to be speaking kind about somebody that was important in your life at one point. But if it's all the time,
Okay.
that's my red flag.
Okay. So there's like a consistent, I feel like, like I would almost want to say guys might be different than girls. Because I feel like maybe more girls are open to speaking about their exes in a positive light sometimes. And I feel like guys tend to probably try not to talk about an exit when they're with somebody else. But I don't think anybody really wants to hear about somebody else's ex regardless. Um, so I would say if you mention something, probably not a red flag. If you're consistently just gabbering on about your ex, I'd be like, sounds like you guys should just probably be together again and go from there.
You want to know kind of a funny quick story that just reminds me of like constantly talking about your ex? When I, well, actually
Yes,
for,
Katie and Jen.
this still happens. I've been with Alex for like, we've known each other for like 8 years now, and his friend group. So before this, he dated his ex for 10 years, and his friend group has the same, I would say, 5 stories that they are positive I was there and that this happened and this, and I know them so well now where I'm like, that was Courtney. That was Courtney. Nope, that wasn't me. That was Courtney. This is the story when that was Courtney. They like, I know these
What?
stories now, and it used to happen all the time.
That is crazy.
And
That's kind of funny, but that is
but I don't
no.
care. It's not like it's him doing it. It's his friends, and it's an honest mistake. She was a big part of their friend group too, so I get it. But
I mean,
it used to happen.
I remember
It used to happen all the
pretty
time.
much like everybody in my stories and where they kind of pertain to, or even my friends. I don't know if I'd really mess up different girls in my boys' life, like when they were doing and hanging out and interesting. Yeah. So
Oh,
there'll never be a
there
story
we
where,
go.
hey, remember when Courtney was on the Simply
That's
Subjective
nice.
podcast?
Thank you
Yeah.
so
No.
much. Hopefully, she never sees this. Sorry, Courtney. It's all positive. I don't mind.
Do we want
You want
celebrity
to do
corner
it?
chat? Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll start it off and we'll kind of talk about a few things here that were very interesting. So one of the things that I really wanted to kind of talk about, one of my favorite actresses of all time right now,
Is it?
I would say so. Uh,
Are we
I
talking
don't
about the
know.
same person? I
Sydney
love her.
Sweeney.
I love
Yeah,
Sweeney.
definitely big fan and all of her stuff. Uh,
Okay,
so
we're talking about the Sydney Sweeney. What's
Glen
his name?
Powell.
Glen
So yes.
Powell.
So if anybody doesn't know, they just filmed a rom com together.
Okay, I'll talk about the movie.
Anyone but you? Well, yeah,
I'll
we're
talk
not here to
about
talk about the movie. We're here to talk about the
anyone but
juicy
you.
details.
No, I just want to say something really quick. I just want to say something really quick. I am really excited for this movie. I really want to watch it because they don't really make
Yeah,
rom
it's
coms,
gonna be
like good
great.
rom coms like
I'm
this
with it.
anymore. I
It's gonna
feel
be
like I'm really excited.
so there's been a lot of dating rumors that have been swirling around with him and Sydney. If you guys have seen, which what?
Which we need to say that Sydney is engaged and she's been with her guy since like 2018, and he was dating this beautiful model for
What
like 3 years when
was
all of this
yeah.
was
So
happening.
here's the thing, and Glenn actually just addressed all this and basically was talking about this is obviously how Hollywood is. He's like, I love heavy when I love. Now the girl he was dating, the supermodel or whatever, they did split, which obviously just led to more rumors.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that it's a PR stunt, but it's just crazy because all the like BTS stuff that they've like posted from filming and everything, and there's like so many like photos she's posted where she's like wearing his jacket, and then they're like meeting each other's
Yeah,
families,
and then she just made the
and
comment
then
on his Men's Health magazine episode talking about keeping women warm for the
oh
winter.
yeah,
But I don't think anything really is going on. That's my opinion.
I think that there's a good chance something
Oh, you do
happens.
think
I do
that?
think so.
So interesting. Now the king and
That
queen
was our little.
of all of the football games and everything else. Obviously, it's been talked about a lot. Taylor
Oh,
Swift, the Swifties,
oh,
Travis Kelsey.
yes. I
I think
love
they're going to
it.
get married and have babies.
I think so too. I love it. It makes me so happy. People that like want to hate on it make me so mad. Like, it's just like those people that like want to have a different opinion about something to get attention for having a different opinion. I'm like, what's not to like about it? They seem
Here's
extremely
what I
happy and in love.
imagine is I think there's this opposites attract aspect to where obviously she's been with a lot of musicians
Mm.
through her career as dating. Like it's been the scene, she's around them, it makes sense. That's who you see, it's probably who you date. And I think when the whole concept of him like trying to reach out to her and like get a date and like here's my number and she like kind of went with it and then realized like here's this like brawny, like jacked, like good is that the right word?
Brawny. I've never looked at a man and said he's brawny. The
I don't
fuck
know. It's
is
like
brawny?
broad shoulder. Maybe I'm mixing scrawny and broad. I don't know.
Broad?
He's a
Are you thinking like
early. No, he's
burly?
not
I
really up
don't.
early.
What are
It's
you?
his
I don't know what
brother,
yours.
but
I don't know
yeah,
what
yeah,
brawny
he's the guy
is.
on the paper towel
Paper
rolls.
towel.
He's literally the freaking brawny guy.
Oh, never in my life have I looked at Travis Kelsey or any man and said, "You're
Listen here,
brawny."
Travis. If you want a new slogan or you want to represent a new deal, hit up Brawny. You should be on their paper towels.
You're. I'm so sorry. Speaking. You're speaking to
I'm
Travis
definitely
right
speaking to
now.
Travis Kelsey right now. Absolutely.
Guys, we have a long
Hey,
ways.
you never know. You never know. He could be scrolling on TikTok right now and come through and be like, I heard my name.
Sure.
So here's what I want to get to. This is why I think they're like headed down. Like, I mean, obviously super duper crazy in love, it seems like right off the bat. I was finger pointing at Katie. So here's what is now happening with the Swifties and all the investigating. So she had yeah, you know the
Investigating.
Swifties. They're like detectives and stuff.
Oh,
They're like the world's
I see
greatest
what you mean.
detectives.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
if you want to solve something, call a Swiftie. They'll figure it out. So she was just
I
doing her
support they
Eras
all.
tour down in Argentina recently, and she had made comments that she was going to give a nod essentially to Travis Kelsey. Like not just like a nod, but like, you know, a notable recognition
Okay.
to him, right? And so this is what everybody picked up on. So the latest story from the fans is that she decided to sing an acoustic version of Endgame from her 2017 album Reputation
Mm.
to the athlete. And here's what's really crazy. So the song is about love that will never die. And as proof of it, according to the Swifties, when she actually sang that song on the piano, the audience members' bracelets lit up red and gold, which are obviously the Chiefs colors. She going,
Whoa, I didn't
can you
know
imagine
that.
being like Taylor Swift, like all of a sudden falling in love and then going to their technical crew and be like, guys, we're going to change all these bracelets up. I need gold and red immediately right now.
I don't know if she's personally going to the technical crew, but I like the idea of
I'm
thinking
sure
that she
she
is.
said, yeah, to
Well,
somebody.
my favorite part about it all was her changing the
Yes.
lyrics
So
to
that was the
Karma.
other thing.
Did
Yes.
you hear about that?
So changing the
Mhm.
lyrics to Karma. And then also, what else do I have here?
Wait. Maybe our listeners don't know. She switched the lyrics and said Karma is the guy on the
Yes.
Chiefs.
Instead of on the screen,
That's
it was.
that's
And then when
I
she
love
did that,
that.
he jumped out of his seat
That's
and he
bold.
held his face. I don't know what that looks like.
Like this.
Is it like a Macaulay Culkin?
I don't think he actually did that. I think
No, he
that's
talked
like
about it in
just
his
a
podcast with his brother about like how he knew something was going to happen, but he didn't know
oh.
what it was.
Okay, no, I was gonna say maybe did he specifically say both hands? Because I could see him like doing like a one hand, just like
What?
a
Like a. I think he probably was
yeah, like that.
like, yeah, but
See?
not.
No, not like you're looking scared instead of
Anyways,
making
they're
our
going to get
chat
married,
tell
have
us.
kids. That's my final statement on that. This
Agreed.
one, this is our last one.
Agreed.
This one you definitely were all about. when we talked about it. So if you haven't heard, we got a little baller just like her mother, and apparently $20 for a glass of lemonade.
That is genius.
Let me tell you about.
Are you kidding me? That's the smartest thing ever.
You know what she does? You know how
she's how old? And that's
you know
genius.
why she's getting the $20? They're paying with $20, and then she goes, "I don't have change," and then takes it.
That's literally better.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Haven't you heard there's like this TikTok sounding trend or whatever that's going on or whatever about like water, and like you go to like a grocery store and water is like $1.
It's actually more.
And then like the more like if then well okay whatever, but then you go to like a concert and it's like $5, and you go to the airport and it's like $8, and it's like it's not about the water, it's about like where you're at and like how you're valued there. She's in like Calabasas, and it's her family.
She should be charging more.
She's
like $100,000 if you want a glass of lemonade. $20, that's a deal.
I'm done with you. Anyway, my point was, I think North is smart, and I think her family is very smart.
Yeah, that's good.
I love the story.
Multi-billion gajillionaires. Well, that essentially brings us to our very last segment. So we're going to do a quick fire, ask away, lady, ask the question, ask multiple questions. We will answer it as quickly as we possibly can.
Ask them all.
Yeah. Any question, all of them.
Ooh.
Irrational fears.
Irrational fears. That's a hard one already.
I probably have a bunch. Though. I assume you have a lot of irrational fears.
I know. That's what I was gonna say. I don't know if it's irrational, but like I am terrified of spiders. I don't know, like irrational though. I'm trying to think.
Like I feel like irrational would be like I'm scared of water bottles.
Yeah. See, no,
I mean, something that's ridiculous. But I don't feel like I have any real crazy irrational fears. I'm gonna say none. I have zero irrational fears at all. Would you travel to space?
Wait,
hell yeah, let's go.
No,
I'm going.
Hell no.
I want to know if the Earth is flat or not. I'm going to space.
You didn't say that.
What are you talking about? I would have firsthand proof.
You're curious?
I'm just so I can bring the proof back to people. Hidden talent. I can actually squirt water out of my eye. So I'm not lying.
Lying. What the what is that? That is a talent? I think that is
there's a
reason to go to the doctor.
Hidden talent. You don't show people, but you know you can do it.
You can't just hide problems from the doctor.
Quick answers. What's your hidden talent? Let's go.
I don't know
do you have a talent?
I don't think so.
It is. They do it with milk, though, lady. I don't want to put milk up my nose and squirt it on my eyeball.
That is gross.
Hey, if you ever get hit by a string of water at the middle of a party, it's probably coming from my eyeball.
Don't you ever say that. Do not ever. Katie, help.
So on that, we're going to wrap up the actual podcast recording. Music comes in and it flies away simply. We haven't come up with a theme song yet, but
I don't think we have music.
No, that's
am
not
aware
there
of.
Yet, but we're imagining.
And now it's going to be music with you singing about
at
music.
Some point, yeah. We're gonna fly. Was that good? Does it sound good?
It was impressive that you were so confident.
Time is flying with Thanksgiving. Put it in your notes right now. Everybody grab a pen. All questions you have that you want to be answered on our podcast at simplysubjectivepodcast@gmail.com.
You can also DM us on Instagram. And also, it's all anonymous.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching Simply Subjective. We will see you next Thursday. Bye.